The movie starts off with Helen Mirren's voice over a video describing the inception of Barbie as a doll that modified the world after the sector gets tired of getting to play with baby dolls, forcing little women to count on the role of moms. Barbie dolls have been created by way of a corporation named Mattel. The dolls all had special occupations and will be something they wanted to be in Barbie land. There are a couple of Barbies and multiple Kens. There may be a president, Barbie physicist, Barbie diplomat, Barbie journalist, Barbie pregnant doll named Midge, amongst others. The Kens' lives depended on their relationships with their Barbies. Barbie goes about her day playing her existence in Barbie land, wherein we go through Barbie's daily recurring in the correct pink international known as Barbie land. The whole lot in this habitual is ideal, and she or he by no means. She meets all the different Barbies. We see a few tensions between the Kens without delay as Ken Ryan Gosling is jealous of the attention Barbie offers to Ken Simulu, which affects Barbie. Ken decides to run toward the waves of the sea and ends up hitting them hard and falling down earlier than the Kens may have a seashore day, even though Barbie resolves the problem and all is well in Barbie land. At night, all the Barbies Ken and Alan accumulate are stereotypical Barbies. Margot Robbie's dream house to have a dance birthday celebration, the whole thing goes splendidly. And we get to look a massive dance quantity to a very catchy disco music sung with the aid of Dua Lipa. However, the dance is interrupted whilst the stereotypical Barbie wonders out loud if the opposite Barbies ever think about loss of life. The reaction makes it clear that it's handiest she who feels that way, and Speedy she pretends to be joking about it the next day. Even though her morning habitual is going absolutely wrong, she begins malfunctioning quickly after, and her feet flip flat. She begins having bad breath amongst other matters. The other Barbies ask her to peer. Bizarre Barbie learns that Barbie has become like that since the little woman who played with her ruined her by gambling too hard. Barbie takes care of the other Barbies to ensure that they do not malfunction like she did. Barbie tells Bizarre Barbie approximately the matters taking place with her. Bizarre Barbie believes that it's all due to a glitch inside the continuum between the actual international and Barbie land. Barbie learns that the actual international and Barbie land are connected, and that something has long gone wrong within the actual international, causing Barbie to malfunction in Barbie land. She asks Barbie to go to the real international and search for the lady who plays with her and messes her up. If you're still watching, please subscribe to our channel for more recaps. It may not a big deal, but it help us a lot. Thanks. All of the other Barbies fare well when other Ken Riles can force him to sneak into Barbie's vehicle and experience with him the actual global Barbie learns that the actual world isn't always all that excellent, and the Barbie dolls had done nothing to revolutionize the arena, as the Barbies believed she was catcalled with the aid of men, and pressured to Barbie realizes that the real world is male-ruled, unlike Barbie land, where all positions of energy are taken by women. Barbie punches a man who smacks her in the buttocks and gets arrested. Barbie and Ken decide to change their outfits, turn out to be stealing new ones from a store, and are arrested again. The cops regulate Mattel, the company responsible for making Barbie and Ken, allowing them to realize that two of their dolls had long gone rogue and were in the real world. He is taking the elevator, going all the way up, and bursts into a meeting with the CEO, Mr. Mattel, inside the interim. Barbie asks Ken to leave her on her own for some time as she tries to concentrate on herself and discover the little girl who performed with her. Barbie sees a vision of the way the little lady was stopped from playing with the doll after she had grown up. Barbie gets emotional after seeing how the little lady is forced to do things that she does not like. Ken goes across the actual world and learns that guys have a very excessive reputation there. He sees how all the positions of power are taken by men and how women are subservient to men, not like in Barbie land. Barbie calls out to Ken and asks him to accompany her to the excessive school, where she is going to look for the little female that played along with her. The lady is a tween named Sasha, who is suggesting to Barbie that she accuses the Barbie dolls of placing the feminist movement back by 50 years, and that the dolls that have been created for girls to play with are the top motive for girls having frame dysmorphia amongst different intellectual and physical troubles. Barbie is hurt and attempts to guard herself, but Sasha calls her a fascist, breaking her heart at the same time. Ken goes searching out books about horses, but finally ends up locating lots of books about patriarchy inside the college library. He is impressed by patriarchy and goes out into the real world to search out an activity. He learns that having a process in the actual global approach might give him a qualification. Mattel's guys discover Barbie crying on the street after her interaction with Sasha. They tell her that they may be going to take her to Mattel headquarters. Ken is interacting with a girl and is bowled over to see how noticeably ladies regard guys in the real world. Instead of going to Mattel with Barbie, Ken decides to go back to Barbie Land on his own at the same time. Gloria is at the faculty to pick up her daughter Sasha and decides to observe the Mattel vehicles with a view to seeing what is happening with Barbie. Barbie arrives at Mattel and meets Mr. Mattel. She learns that the unique creator of Barbie, a girl, never lived within the building and that the corporation had been run by men. Mr. Mattel tries to persuade Barbie to get inside the box willingly, but she manages to get away from the room after lying to use the restroom. Barbie sneaks out, and after a complex chase, she reveals herself in a woman's residence. Barbie talks to the vintage lady who calls herself Ruth. She reassures Barbie that she changed into as flawlessly appropriate as she turned into and that there was no desire for her to be the stereotypically best Barbie she changed into, designed to be. Barbie gets emotional at some stage in her chat with Ruth and bids the old woman farewell after she hears the guys chasing after her outside the Mattel workplace. Gloria and Sasha are in their vehicle while Barbie suggests getting up. Gloria offers to help Barbie and manages to outchase the guys following them. Barbie learns that it was Gloria who became obsessed with the doll and finally ends up having a second mind, which is approximately what a Barbie with an existential crisis would seem like. She realizes that she malfunctioned due to the fact that Gloria was having a tough time. Barbie realizes that it's the mother's memories she turned into having and no longer Sasha's, and that mother had induced Barbie to malfunction. She apologizes to Sasha for what's happening to the actual world due to the Barbie dolls. Barbie makes a decision to go back to Barbie Land, even as Gloria and Sasha join in to help Barbie after arriving at Barbie Land. Barbie sees how Ken has taken over her residence, and the entire Barbie Land has been changed into Kendom after patriarchy has taken over this global. Barbie learns that all the other Barbies had been brainwashed by the Kens into being subservient to them. The dolls had forgotten who they were and their personal identities as medical doctors, Nobel Prize winners, presidents, and more as they started tending to the Ken dolls and their desires. Barbie tries to speak to Ken about it, but he claims that it was Gloria's fault for converting their regular lives by giving Barbie a mind about dying. In the meantime, the Mattel men decide to comply with Barbie to see what is going on in Barbie Land. When Barbie had a mental breakdown, she claimed that she would just sit and wait for things to go back to normal. Gloria and Sasha try to knock some sense into her, but Barbie is very depressed. Gloria and Sasha are on their way back to the real world when Gloria claims that it was necessary for them to sort things out in Barbie Land because it was all her fault. She turns back around and goes back to help Barbie. Gloria and Sasha take Barbie and a few other Barbies to the weird Barbie's house, where they decide to help save the other Barbies by distracting the Kens. A few Barbies, along with Alan Ken's underappreciated buddy, starts the deprogramming of the Barbies by distracting the Kens with a decoy. Once distracted, the Barbies are taken away, and Gloria talks to them about female empowerment in order to bring them out of the trance that the Kens had put them in. Once all the Barbies had been deprogrammed, they decided to turn their charm on in order to trap their respective Kens. Barbie goes to Ken's house and apologizes for not seeing him as her potential partner. She tells him that she was ready to date him, and Ken is happy. He sings Barbie a 4-hour-long song, as do the other Kens with their respective Barbies. However, just as the Kens were convinced that Barbies were into them, the Barbies moved on to sit with a different Ken to make them jealous. The Ken Smiths split into two different teams and fought each other at the beach. Mr. Mattel and his men enter Barbie Land just in time during the Ken clash, where all the Kens try to fake kill each other. Ken breaks out into song and finally comes to realize that he was Ken, a soul entity and not just an accompaniment of Barbie. In the meantime, the Barbie Land elections take place in the absence of the Ken's president. Barbie rules in favor of the Barbies, claiming that the Barbie government could not have been overruled by the Kens because of their absence. The Kens finally go back to Kendom and see that it had been turned back to Barbie Land. Ken gets upset and starts crying because of how he was a failed doll. Barbie tries to console him, and the two talk about how Barbie never saw Ken as a partner, and that it was always girls' night every night, for Barbie apologizes for taking Ken for granted and asks him to create an identity for himself by discovering who he really is. Mr. Mattel, who was overhearing the discussion, claims that he understands the burden Ken was holding onto, but claims that there is nothing he could do about the situation of the dolls. Gloria suggests that there should be an ordinary Barbie that resembles an everyday woman who doesn't have any big dreams or expectations like taking over the world. She believes that the new Barbie could resonate with every woman and change the perception of people in the real world and how they look at dolls as objects of stereotypical beauty. Mr. Mattel and the other men decide to go with the idea and close the portal between the two worlds. However, Sasha asks for Barbie to be given her own ending. Barbie cannot decide what she wants to do with her life because all she ever knew was waking up and having a perfect day that ended with a blowout party. Gloria asks Mr. Mattel to give Barbie her happy ending and her story, but Mr. Mattel claims that he can't do it. Mrs. Ruth Mattel shows up and tells Barbie that she was the creator of the Barbie doll. The petite old woman had died years ago, and her industry had been taken over by men. Ruth claims that Barbie was named after her daughter, Barbara. She claims that Barbie should go on a path of self-discovery to make her see what she would want to do with her life. Barbie goes back in time to find out the history of women and realizes that she no longer wants to live as an idea that comes out of someone else's mind. Barbie tells Ruth that she doesn't want to be a doll and wants to be a real human. She asks for Ruth's permission, but the woman tells her that there is no one to permit Barbie to become a human. Barbie decides that she wants to be the person making the ideas and decides to go into the real world with all the Barbies and Kens. Barbie bids farewell as she goes into the real world. Gloria and her husband drop Barbie off on her first normal day as a normal, everyday woman. Barbie goes into the real world, and the first thing she does is go to her gynecologist like any other woman would.
This is Redo Recap Channel. Make sure you subscribe the channel if you want to see more recap of movies or series or anime. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.